Let's talk some USC Trojan recruiting. Blue chip recruits and their families are buzzing following USC's win over LSU last night. It was a thrilling 27-20 victory. I got Scott Schrader here from USC. He's going to take us behind the scenes of USC's week one win over LSU and what it means for Trojan recruiting. But first, USC fans, jump on board, hit subscribe. We love talking USC recruiting. We're going to do it all season long, so go ahead right now. Jump on board, hit subscribe for me, please. All right, let's bring on Scott Schrader from USC. There were some big-time names in attendance. None bigger, meaning physically bigger, than Jahkeem Stewart, the number one player in the 2026 class. He looked like he had a great time. Why was this win impactful for Jahkeem Stewart?
Yeah, I think Jahkeem Stewart and there's several others. It was key for USC to go not only win. I think the win is kind of a nice exclamation point, but USC has just had to show these guys that they don't suck at defense anymore. And I think that I'm not really sure that USC could have performed much better in week one than they did last night against LSU, holding them to 20 points, and just the defense looking significantly different than it has in the last probably 5+ years.
Yeah, it was just an incredible night, an incredible win, and an incredible night to be hosting some of the top recruits in America. Now, Jahkeem Stewart came out after the game, well, about 10 hours after the game, sometime this morning, and said that he has two big announcements on the way. What I think it is, now maybe you're hearing differently from sources, but we've heard the rumblings all offseason that Jahkeem Stewart was going to reclassify to 2025. I think instantly it makes him a top 10 recruit, maybe a top 5 recruit in the 2025 class. Now, I don't know what the second announcement could be, maybe a top list, maybe some official visits. I mean, what do you think, Scott?
Yeah, we've been expecting an announcement for reclassification for quite a while, and this second announcement, yeah, I figured it would be an official visit, date list, or like we had talked about a little bit before this, just top school list. But you kind of have a feel like he already had a top school list. There weren't that many on it, but maybe he perhaps is going to narrow it down to a couple more. I don't know, but we do know he's going to take official visits during the season, so that would be my guess. I haven't gotten any confirmation yet on what the announcements are.
Yeah, he put out a tweet today saying that it's coming, so we'll see what happens with Jahkeem Stewart. I don't think it's going to be a commitment. I mean, it might not even be a top list, like a top 3 or a top 4, but we can decipher that. We can do the math here. If he puts out, hey, I'm reclassifying and I'm taking these 3 visits, then I think those 3 teams are probably his top teams. And if we had to make a top 3 for Jahkeem Stewart right now, I would put USC, LSU, and Ohio State, maybe even in that order. I don't know, maybe not in that order, but I think those are the 3 teams that would be battling it out for Jahkeem Stewart.
Yeah, I have a hard time eliminating Oregon on this list. I just know what Oregon's able to offer. Again, there's some games that need to be played out. USC certainly. I always felt like USC was going to be one of the final 2. So I'm not quite sure where the other schools are going to be positioned, but your list, that sounds pretty much spot on to me.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens with Jahkeem Stewart. No decision date, no reclassification officially made yet, but we're keeping an eye on it. All right, quarterback Ryder Lyons. This was an intriguing name to see there. Number 3 quarterback in the 2026 class, and he's picking up predictions in USC's favor. Is this the quarterback that USC's trying to lock down for 2026?
Yeah, absolutely. There's no question about that. And because of the dynamics of him taking an LDS mission after high school, he's actually going to be a class of 2027 quarterback. But this is a kid, just based off early season results, he's got to be ranked up there among the best quarterbacks in the country, regardless of any class. So this is definitely the main target for Lincoln Riley, and I know they're hoping to get a commitment in the somewhat near future.
Right,
I haven't made a prediction yet, but I've learned now. I just wait until guys come out with their announcement dates before I make predictions. I've had to change them so many damn times.
All right, well, we're waiting on your prediction on this one. RJ Sermons, the number 4 ranked player in the state of California for the 2026 class. He was in attendance. He had a lot of great things to say coming out of that one. Do you like where USC stands for RJ Sermons?
I do. I've liked where they stand. I think they've been in a pretty strong spot for quite a while now. And again, this is a lot of the class of 2026 players on the West Coast, especially in Southern California. And then there's going to be a good crop of players in the next couple of recruiting classes in Southern California. Those guys have, like everybody else, have been waiting to see if USC is going to look good and play good football and be that program that does draw the kids and keeps them at home. So, yeah, I think USC is an exceptionally strong spot for him.
Mm. So, Scott, you were there last night. The excitement, just the environment. I know it wasn't a USC home game, but there were a lot of recruits on, in attendance for that one. What does a win like this do for USC recruiting?
It really, I don't want to, maybe I'm overhyping.
No, I don't think so. It was a big game.
Yeah, I think it's game changing, quite frankly. It takes USC, at least for now. There's a lot of games left this season, but it takes them from talking the talk to now walking the walk. And now guys have seen what USC looks like. And I mean, honestly, it looked really good. And that's going to help USC tremendously.
Yeah, I think so too. So that leads me to my last question. Juju Lewis, we haven't heard from him really all summer, at least in terms of addressing his recruitment. So a game like this, national television, no other games on TV, USC pulls it out with a last-minute drive on offense. It's got to bode well for Julian Lewis and his commitment status, right?
It does, and I always felt like he was going to end up at USC, but there was always, I do believe that he was waiting to see how USC looked this season too. Ultimately, I don't think they had to go 10-2 or 9-3, but they couldn't have another 7-5 season, and I think you get a victory like this versus LSU, which if you were going to chalk up likely losses in the loss column, this would have been one of those games, and they got past this. So, they should go into Ann Arbor 2-0 after playing Utah State next week. And you win that game and you start off the season 3-0. The sky's the limit at that point.
Great start for USC any way you cut it. So, Trojan fans, talk to Scott and I. How are we feeling after an exciting win? Some of you guys are just waking up with a hangover, but hey, USC wins it. Recruiting is hot. Let us know. Comment section below. How are we feeling? Well, you've made it to the end of today's video, but there's hundreds more videos on the On3 Recruits channel for you to check out. And also, while you're here, hit subscribe.